Welcome back to Woodworkers Workshop, and today we're going to tackle one of our newer projects. It's the Volunteer Fire and Rescue chair, Adirondack style chair. So today we're going to tackle this one, and we have the basic plan. It offers, all your information with regards to parts and sizes and layout diagrams, that sort of thing. And this is the traditional plan. What it does, it offers full-size drawings for each of the parts. Full-size drawings, you can see the line art for the badge. And then there's part C, which is the slats. It just shows one, of course. And you just make however many you need. Part C is for the slats on the seat. There's the leg. You need a couple of those, and arm brace, and arm rest is right here, and the main seat support. So there's a full-size drawing for each part, and then you make as many as you need out of the wood. This project, all you need is this one full sheet of plywood, 3/4 inch. This here is pressure treated plywood because I plan to keep it outdoors. And all the parts you need can be made from this one sheet. Now, like I said, this is the traditional plan, but I also offer the full-size plywood layouts for a few more dollars, and you don't have to try and figure out where all the parts line up on the plywood because it's all done for you. So it's 3 full sheets, and what you do is there's some notes on this is the first sheet, and you see there's a lineup line which you'll match to the lineup line on page 2. What I would do, I would cut with scissors right along that line, and then that line matches to this line. You can tape them together if you like, and then move on to page 2 and 3, the same thing. There's an important lineup line. Cut this one, match it to that one, tape it together, then you have a full layout 4 feet wide and 8 feet long, matched exactly to the size of your plywood, and you just match the edge to your plywood. Keep it in place with some weights, or if you want to tape it or staple it, something like that. And then all you have to do then is take your couple of sheets of tracing paper, which you're going to fold open. You're going to slip underneath the paper. And once you get everything lined up, you're just going to take a pencil or any blunt object like the back of a pen or something like that, and just trace all of these lines. There's legs, and all the parts are laid out. So you might say, okay, well, the main seat support and some other parts, 3/4 inch plywood isn't all that thick for parts like that. And I say, well, the way this plan is designed, you're going to double up the layers. So the main seat support, you're going to cut out 2 of them, put them together to get your 1.5 inch thick board, which will provide that extra stability. And same thing with the other end of the main seat support. And then there's the legs, which the armrest sits on top of. You're going to double up a 3/4 inch plywood to get your 1.5 inch thickness for the legs. Same thing on that one there. And all the rest of them are just single parts. But it's all laid out for you for a few extra dollars. All that's taken care of. And it's a heavy set of plans anyway, so adding this isn't going to increase the cost for shipping that much more. So I'm going to get busy tracing, and then we're going to get busy starting cutting. Okay, so I got all the parts traced onto the plywood, and now we're going to just cut out all the parts. There's a couple of ways that you can cut out parts for the plywood for the chair. For example, you can see there's one of the main seat supports, and then there's the other half is here for one side, and then main seat support here, and the other half is under here. you could just take the jigsaw and start cutting around all the lines, you know, and then cut out your parts. Or you can just take your skill saw and make a quick cut, take away all 4 pieces, and then quickly cut with your skill saw, circular saw. Cut each one rough out. Then sandwich the 2 pieces together with glue and screws, because these are the parts that need to be doubled up to get that 1.5 inch thickness. So glue and screw it together, and then you can literally just take the pattern right away, go over to your bandsaw, or take out your jigsaw and cut them out that way. I'm going to use the bandsaw simply because it's quicker. And for all the other parts that are down on the plywood is the armrest, the supports for the back, these long boards here. I mean, a lot of these just with the circular saw, quick straight cuts, and then I could just quickly cut it with the skill saw there, remove it from the sheet, and then, you know, finish them on the table saw, or take them to the chop saw and cut the miters, or use the skill saw, whatever you like. I mean, whatever tool you have. So we're done here. I'm going to get busy now cutting out these parts. So I got most of the parts cut out now. What's left here, this is the badge, this is the backrest. That'll be the last thing I'll cut out. Some armrests are here. The shelves on the side are here. That's only rough cut stage. We still got to finish trimming them out. All these are cut to fit. There's the seat slats. There's the main seat support is still got to get cut. I'm going to cut them on the bandsaw. Those parts got to get cut out, but I glued and screwed them together so they got the 1.5 inch thick support. Same with the legs underneath and the miscellaneous parts over there. So here, just an example of if you have access to a bandsaw. I just said these are the little braces that go underneath the armrests, and just screwed in 2 places where I know I'm not going to be cutting, and turn on the bandsaw and start cutting away. This is a stack cut. I'm cutting both at the same time. That way they're, you know, it's cutting once, getting 2 pieces, you're making half the work for yourself, and they'll both look exactly alike as well. So all the pieces are now sanded, almost all of them. I just got one left to do, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Armrests and 2 legs. The shelves are here. These are the leg supports, glued and screwed. And then I just finished edge sanding all the parts. I got a spindle sander, so that's what I use. But I mean, if you have a belt sander, for years and years and years, I used my trusty old belt sander. I still use it from time to time. That can cut off the coarse edges that occur with plywood. Of course, now when I go to paint this, that first coat of paint, it's going to raise all the grain on the edge of plywood, because all plywood does that. The grain will rise up, and you got to go back and hit the sandpaper to it again. No big deal, but I mean, if you want a nice smooth finish on your edges, it's one of the steps that you had to do. Now for the badge of the chair, the backrest, you have 2 choices. Of course, in the plan comes to full-size line drawings, and you can simply just trace out the perimeter, and all the interior lines are included, like the hat and the letters and all that sort of stuff. I didn't do it on this project because I'm using a color print. So this is one of the options that we sell in the store. It takes all the work out of painting. So as you can see, when you line it up, it's the same size. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and line this up as best I can. I'm going to just place a weight down on the color print so it doesn't move. Then I'm going to take my pencil and I'm just going to start tracing an extra little bit, and that's going to be my cut line, because I want to leave a little edge so that I can I have that little bit of room to move. You don't have to. It's just something that I prefer. I don't want the color print to go right to the edge of the plywood. It's a personal preference. So that's what I'm going to do there. And it gets confusing with the lines a little bit, so I'm just going to, the line I'm not going to cut on, I'm just going to make a little wiggly line on it. Go back and look, check, make sure. And that's the line I'm going to cut on. I'm going to follow all the way around and get that done. Then I'm going to hit it with the jigsaw. And then sand down the edge using the spindle sander. And then all parts are sanded and everything's ready for a base coat. I'm going to paint the whole frame in red. And I'm going to do a base coat of gray first. Then sand that down, hit it with the sandpaper. And then give it 2 coats of red, which I have some leftover red. It's the same red that I used on my Peggy's Cove Lighthouse. I still have lots of that left over. Alright, on to the next step. This is what I'm up to today. This is back for a Adirondack chair. And it's a firefighter's chair. This is the pre-printed label that we make. I don't want to paint it, so I can just print it off on a label. And then all the parts. I cut them out yesterday and sanded them, and today I got the first coat of paint. And they got to get sanded again. And then they'll get 2 coats of red. All this is made from, the whole chair can be made from 1 sheet of plywood. So I'm off to do some more sanding.